Hey guys, the other day I had made a video talking about this interesting discovery about Black Ops 4 Zombies and how the Chaos storyline was linking up to an old game from Activision called Pitfall. Pitfall is made by Activision and it has several games in its series, and it started way back in the 1980s. There's been some subtle clues in Blackout, the comic books, and also in Zombies that are referencing this Pitfall game. It has basically the same plot as the Chaos story. It's about this lady that has a father that has gone missing, and he went on some kind of journey looking for some kind of artifact, and she is on a mission to find him. You can see references to Pitfall in one of the comic books that you see there on the left. It's got Diego on the cover, and then the quest item that you pick up for Diego to unlock him in Blackout is this, I guess, magazine. It's got Pitfall on it, and it's got him on it with a woman in his arms, and that magazine cover looks pretty close to one of the Pitfall covers of the game. It's the Pitfall, the Mayan Adventure version. In the last video, I went into more detail about all of this and showed you guys some cutscenes from the game that talk a little bit about this lady that's on this journey trying to find her father and how closely it actually matches up. When I first made the video, I didn't really understand what was going on. I just knew there was a lot of connections to Pitfall, but I didn't understand why. So I made the video, presented it to you guys, showed you all the evidence and all the connections to see what you guys thought about it, and actually got some really good feedback that helped to solve this. At first I was thinking, are they just using ideas from another game and hoping that we don't find out about it? But no, it seems to actually be a pretty big Easter egg for Black Ops 4 Zombies, and definitely, yes, they did want us to discover this, and there is a purpose behind it. And I certainly appreciate the Chaos storyline a whole lot more after learning about this. It's not just some random story that they made up. This actually has history and it has roots. And there's even more connections that have been found after I made that video, and I'll show you guys all of that. It's really cool. So after I'd made that video, I was looking for feedback from you guys to see what you thought about it, and I got great feedback, and thank you guys so much. One of the best ones was from Make Sense on Twitter. His response to the video was, "It makes sense. They were hinting things in tweets a while back around BO4 release, asking what our favorite classic games were. I think there was even talk of Pitfall in another tweet, and I got the feeling they wanted to pay homage to the game that got them started." After I'd seen this response, I was like, wait a minute, Pitfall was more significant than just a game that they created, so I went and looked into the history of it. And I didn't initially find this information when I made the previous video. If I had, it would have been a very different video. But it's saying that Pitfall wasn't their first game, it was Dragster 1980, but when Pitfall came out, it was their first big hit. So yeah, looking at this, it's starting to make a lot more sense. Made sense when he said that it's paying homage to the game that got them started. And this is way more than what I expected for the Chaos storyline. This story actually has some pretty deep roots, and it's a very meaningful story. It has a lot of meaning for Activision and their company, so I can definitely respect why they are taking on this type of storyline for Black Ops 4 Zombies. I got another really good response from you guys, and that was from Jared on Twitter. He was able to find some really good information about Pitfall that makes even bigger connections with this story. He said there's another comparison between Black Ops 4 Zombies' Chaos storyline and this Pitfall game. In the game Pitfall Harry, he had two other allies. One was an old soldier named Bitten Binder, could represent Bruno, and a scientist, I forgot his name, but he could represent Shaw. I liked what he was saying there, so I did a little bit of research and found that, yeah, they do match up pretty well. So Harry matches up with Diego, we already know that, and Nicole, she's the one looking for her father. She matches up with Scarlet. The next guy's name is Leach, and he's like a nerdy scientist guy, and he does match up with Stanton Shaw. And then the next guy to the right, he is kind of a big dude, and he matches up pretty well with Bruno. In addition to having similarities with like personality and maybe a little bit of appearance, they also match up with the storyline. We know that Scarlett's looking for her father that's missing, and that Diego, Stanton, and Bruno are there to help her, and they actually know her father and have worked with him in the past, so they do have a reason to help her and be a part of the crew. Well, it's the same for the Pitfall story. So Nicole, she's looking for her father that's missing. He's on an adventure, and Harry is there to help her along with the other two guys, and those other two guys actually have history with her father and they know him. Here's a description about Leach. His name is Hubert Leach, which he goes by his last name, and so does Stanton Shaw. He goes by Shaw, and Hubert Leach is a member of Bittenbinder's expedition crew that becomes stranded after the plane is destroyed. That part's not important, but the part where it says he's previously worked with Kevin McAllister and knows him is a lot like what's going on with the Chaos Story. This character here, Dr. Bittenbinder, he represents Bruno. His name is Dr. Bernard Bittenbinder, PhD. He's an acclaimed archaeologist. He goes to South America in search of his friend and colleague, Kevin McAllister, whom his daughter was looking for. So yeah, pretty identical to the Chaos storyline, no doubt about that. And last but not least, you have the father in both storylines that are identical. You've got Kevin McAllister from Pitfall, and this is a picture of him dead. That's the only image you get in the game because he was missing the whole time. It says he was a noted explorer and father of Nicole McAllister, and he was killed during his adventure or journey. So that's what you're seeing there. And then to the right, you've got the Chaos storyline father, Alistair Rhodes, obviously father of Scarlet Rhodes. And again, he is also missing, and we may end up finding him dead at the end, just like in the Pitfall game. In addition to all this information and some more information that really seals the deal is a tweet that was made by David Vonderhaar. Vonderhaar can be very, very cryptic in his tweets, and a lot of the stuff that he tweets, it doesn't make any sense. So it's really cool to see that this past tweet actually has some kind of meaning and does make sense now, and it is solved. On October 12th, 2018, when Black Ops 4 was officially released, that was the release day, he tweeted a group of independent developers at a company called Activision, led by a guy whose first name I shared, David Crane, designed a game called Pitfall. He made a few more tweets carrying on about this Pitfall game and just going on and on about it, and he actually posted a picture of him wearing a t-shirt that looked a lot like the cartridge from Pitfall from Atari. So you can only assume from all of those tweets that he could have been hinting at the backstory for Black Ops 4 Chaos storyline. I have no doubts in my mind that the Chaos storyline is paying homage to Pitfall, their first big hit, and you can see it throughout that storyline. But is there another place in Black Ops 4 that they've implemented some of its history? Let me know what you guys think about this, and let me know if you see other things that could link up Pitfall to Black Ops 4, whether it be zombies or multiplayer or Blackout or whatever. So there's no doubt that all those clues were Easter eggs, and I'm really impressed with this one. This is a different type of Easter egg. This is like a storyline Easter egg, and it's a pretty big deal. I do appreciate what they've done here, but let me know what you guys think about this, and we'll see you next video.
Thank you for watching Glitching Queen's video. Hoorah!